Sometimes I do archery. Right? My favorite color are yellow.
Tell us a bit about what it is that you open in the cafe that are new or other cafes like maybe Starbucks and others to say.
Get everybody to fall into the feeling and do it. Yeah, we like to start a bit earlier. I'm not saying there isn't another way of tackling such an issue, but for me, I would say, you know what? No, try. You have to try a lot of times before you decide that you're gonna stop.
Everybody want to know who is Dionne. So who is behind the car?
Okay, so I am Dionne. My full name is Dionne Nohar. I am Guyanese, of course, and I grew up on the west coast of Demerara. And I'm currently in business for about 5 years now. Yeah, it's a proprietor of the Café.
Yeah. All right, so what's your favorite color? What sort of interest that you like maybe?
Well, for me, seeing that I have a café, I love cafés. I love sports. Well, I play pickleball. I play sometimes I do archery. Right? My favorite color are yellow.
Yeah,
I like yellow.
color and yellow chocolate.
It's all repart. Yeah, it's very warm and welcoming. You know, I always liked yellow.
And stand out.
And standard, yeah.
So like so you got into the business that you're in right now. I know you mentioned that you love cafes and so forth. So what decided you to say, well, let me go into this business of owning a cafe?
Well, growing up, through the younger parts of my life, I would always be visiting cafes, and I'm someone that's just one of my relaxation space.
Yeah.
I love to visit cafes. And, I went to many of them, almost all of them, in fact, that are existent right now. So along the way, I decided to think, maybe I would like to own something like this someday.
Yeah.
And I would like to be able to give to people that same experience that I share every time that I go to these cafes.
You mentioned about schooling, and what do you think about that cafe? And then you use it, be there doja, it's really calm feeling. So you can attest to that. So like, and a lot of professionals, they go to Starbucks, they go to different cafes and so forth and relax. So you know, have a cup of coffee and have a personal conversation. Tell us a bit about what it is that you open in the cafe that are new or other cafes like maybe Starbucks and others to say.
Definitely. So our mission is basically to provide a cozy, safe, relaxing space to our customers, more so our neighborhood and, the wider population. But we offer this cozy, relaxing space. You can come and connect. You can connect with your friends. You connect with your family. You can have a little business kicking. We do breakfast and we do lunch. And we have a variety of coffee beverages.
What's like we do today? Closing hours here.
Our opening hours are 7:30 a.m. daily. That's the time we open, and we go until 5 p.m. in the afternoon. On weekends, we would go a bit later. Sometimes we would go up to 7 o'clock on weekends. And approaching the holidays, we would be going a bit later.
Very nice. Even the Christmas spirit and then customer keeping and said that she can't believe that it's Christmas yet, but the spirit is there already. So you have to start to be. Yes, that's so like in Trinidad, right now everybody be them carnival, but because it's so close that the Christmas season it be diminished per se. So it was like later in March, then after Christmas will be more interested in Christmas, but Christmas is that time I love it, that time we're kid, that time to each other. So I think that is so important. And maybe that is why it started earlier as well.
Yeah, definitely. That's what we're all about. We're all about, introducing a good feeling. And, Christmas is all about family getting together. That's that memory that you have of when you were little, the nice things like the pepper pots and the ginger beers. We started a bit early, to kind of get everybody to fall into the feeling and do it. Yeah, we like to start a bit earlier.
So we know about the three business, the challenge. But what are the big challenges that you face in your business? Are you able to say, okay, it's not you feel but it does feeling scenario where it led to success? Because sometimes in business here you need a know-how and then you get things done. So maybe you could share the challenge or chat.
Oh, definitely owning a small business is something that has a lot of challenges. It's not easy. As much as we might make it look like it's just a breeze, it's not. It's difficult, but it's something that you must love. You gotta choose, something that you love. And if you do that and you're able to carry through with it, because when the challenges arise, we need something to keep you pushing. Some of the challenges I faced, well, first off, we would have started within the year of COVID. That's how long we've been in that year. It was very hard because as soon as we started up the cafe, the COVID came. We had to shut off completely. We also had to resort to a different type of service to be offered rather than a dining experience. We had to resort to deliveries and following the code of conduct for COVID. That's one of the things. In addition to that, getting accustomed to the nitty-gritties and the operation. Staffing. Sometimes, staffing is an issue. There are things like learning to manage expenses. In a cafe, there are things that would spoil or would damage easily. So you have to learn to manage those things. I found those to be challenge areas for me and things that I would have needed to learn to adjust to, as well as keeping a standard to the customer, keep providing a constant standard of customer service and taste, because those are very important. Those were challenging areas, but we got through it.
Understood. And it's so amazing because that so many businesses created in COVID. And sometimes, when it is that we are faced with something, you look at it as an opportunity. Some people look at it as a disadvantage and they just basically lose business and they say, hey, they go into something that might be recession proof. Yeah. So what made you make a business over time with such pulling away from business? So
thing is, I had started to plan my business even before I knew this was coming. So it was already in process. It was already actually at the end until we opened. So, we didn't realize that this would have happened, but it was already in process. But what made me continue is the fact that, one, I saw a cafe being something lucrative and able to push forward because people always want food. Food is an essential, a basic, and it's something that you can't go wrong with. Every day people would like, food. And it's also something that I loved and I wanted to give it a try. I wanted to see it work. And I think that is why I continue to push through it and to invest into it.
Yeah.
Right?
And I would say the few times I came here, the experience, your service was to us and pots. I must commend anyone who is coming to Café should definitely comment about the cafe. And what street is this?
This is a Naira Street. So we're now in the Naira Street into Queenstown, the Naira Street, Queenstown. That's between Ornock and Albert.
Okay, awesome. And what's what that idea did young professionals, especially women, do want to go into business and maybe don't really know how, maybe don't have the capital. But what's all that advice you could give for that?
Well, first of all, you have to you have to have your investment start. Yeah, you need to, if you have a job and you're working, at least if you want it bad enough and you want to be an entrepreneur, you gotta save to that. You can either save to that, you can either do that as one, or you can go to an entity, for example, the bank, get your criteria, your credentials, and you apply for a small loan, you start. But an important thing to also do is to do a feasibility study to make sure that what you're investing in is worth it and it's going to be lucrative, right? And you just go for it. You just go for it. You don't, when all the challenges come to you, once it's something that you love, well, first and foremost, as I always tell, you have to choose something that you love. Yeah. Because in business, there are many challenges. And you need a lot of patience. And if it is not something that you like, then you're going to see you're going to die out within a year or 2 years. When it starts to come, you're going to quit. So you have to have something that drives you. And if you have passion for your work, and if you have close interest in your work, so you will continue to go forward, right? So I think that's some of my advice.
That wonderful advice. Say that it's not about the passion, but it's about that whatever it is, businesses viable at the point in time that you go at it. But I wouldn't say so because let's say, for example, construction or something, even in that you don't have a passion for that, but you're doing it because it's a viable business. And then after each day, you're doing a common to work on time, you're not lazy with your employees to find out what's going on, updating and so forth. Then after the business will be fresh. So you need to have that passion. So some people will say that best go into a business that booming. But do have the passion for it, then after you'll be able to make it the best of your ability. So when you mention about passion, I totally agree with that. And I disagree with just looking at an opportunity in a country and just going at it and you don't really have any passion per se.
Definitely. I would like to add to that because going into a business area or sector that is booming, right? There's a lot of competition also there because there are many that are also looking in that direction.
Persons in the competition now, they can be more passionate
Right.
than you. So obviously their success will be
Yes. And sometimes these persons, they have better resources. They have a lot more resources. They have a lot more network that they can connect to get them going smoothly. So you as a small business within this big ocean, if you don't have that drive to take you through, then you will not, you're not going to finish it.
so true.
Yeah. So it's very important. That is a very important point that you must have that drive and you must have a passion for whatever you're doing.
And we talk about the corporate, we talk about going to work entrepreneurship, you starting out business over time. But who was Dionne before that? Who is the corporate role looking for constantly for saying?
So basically I worked at the government, right? I worked at the Ministry of Legal Affairs. Within that time, of course, I had my social life, and this was part of it too. My hobby, which is going to cafes, is one of them. So within that time, I loved working with the government. I was my lady also. So afterwards, I decided to start studying the legal aspect. I started a bit of studies in legal, so I have a little bit of legal foundation. And after a while, I managed to save some money. And then I said, let me give the coffee a try because it's something always lingering in my mind. It's always been lingering. I said, it's time for me to give you a try, right? And I decided to invest and, just went with it.
You came out completely or you started with a approval and working at the ministry?
I left. Yeah, I left. And then I was at home for a while. My husband and we had a business. So I used to be in that business, learning management, that aspect of it. So I needed to have that also, the way to manage operations and so on. So within that time, I think I got the rest of what I needed to start. And then I decided to go into Café. I decided to put it into my interest.
Yeah.
And, work out for me.
That's really good to hear. And so never that you need to take that and drop your because it'll be even unsaid. You have to be even youth before that.
Definitely. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
But what sort of advice, you was just mentioned to people? It ought to be like women, it can be anyone. Maybe struggling talking a job who maybe don't know what to do next because like LAC is of the prevalent in society and I see that person be affected in too many different ways. You could do the consult and always different thing. And as a younger man, you put into business and it's not that easy. And definitely it's a challenge, it's a risk, but you took it and so good and so you're not.
Yeah. Well, for anybody, I would just basically like to say the word hope. The word hope is something that people find strength in, that word hope. And anything that you put your mind to, you can accomplish it. I mean, different people in different parts of life have their difficulties, right? But I've seen people in some of the worst settings come out as great. And you know what is the difference that separates those persons from the wider population? It's mindset. And you have to have a mindset. If you want something bad enough and you go for it and you refuse to see the obstacles and you continue to work hard, then you're able to achieve anything. Right? So yeah, that's my advice. Have a positive mindset. Work hard and you can have your dreams.
Curious, and I saw the audience curious as well. So it didn't move. You about what I made up, but
Well, that wasn't an option for me because there are many times that happened. I thought that, I'm reached my point where I think, it's finished. It's not going to work. But you know what? Woke up the next day and I'm like, you know what? Try again. Just keep trying. And it's possible. That's what I said. Mindset. It's important to have a strong, positive mindset. Because even if you wake up and you see everything is going wrong and, it looks like it cannot work, there is a way. There's always a way. There's always a way to make things work. Right? So, yeah. So I think that's my perspective on this. I wouldn't say, quit and go, because that's not the mindset that I have. So I wouldn't share that perspective. I'm not saying there isn't another way of tackling such an issue. But for me, I would say, no, try. You have to try a lot of times before you decide that you're going to stop. And within that time of trying for me, I mean, it worked out.
So people, they're always going to have like a plan B, a plan C, but that's it. But if they're a driver, let up lights it should have a can be your plans. Your plan A reads the rate. You know, I just watch it because you had that way. It may take some time, but it will.
It will take time, definitely. But yeah, the likeliness of it working is very high once you have the drive for it. Right? Good morning.
Yeah, awesome. So thank you very much for your time.
Yes.
Look at yeah. My listeners keep it needs amateur business and anyone they mentioned from people come at the Ghana definitely so check already.
Definitely. I'll just drop our contact numbers into this information sector here. Our contact numbers are 621-5800 or 628-9600. We are located at Lot 38, Anari Street, Queenstown. If you're looking to find us, you can also find us on Google if you type it in, or we're on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. So those are our platforms. All right? Yeah. And now with you.
Thank you.
All right. So thank you. It's nice to
Same here.
have this chat with you.
Sure.